Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to El Cotorreo, your favorite gossip TV show about politics and economy. I'm your host, Mariana.
And I'm your host, Judy. Stay tuned because we got juicy information.
For the ones who have been living under a rock, let me update you. Since its creation, the United Nations has been encouraging countries to create international cooperation throughout international trade. This allows every consumer to have a bigger number of options while buying Nike Air Force, as well as permitting a Mexican organic fruit company to go abroad. However, when a country is in no proper conditions to make international trade, Russia, measures such as tariffs and non-tariff barriers need to be imposed. The country ruled by Putin is one of the 10 top countries that imposes tariffs and non-tariff measures to the world, especially to our neighbors of the north. The gringos claim that the Russian government adds unnecessary levels of complexity while trading, increasing the cost of production and logistics.
Everyone knows that Russia is carrying out an invasion on Ukraine, and almost the entire world is mad about it. Hey camera, are you mad about it?
I am.
Countries allies of the United States such as the European Union are applying tariffs on Russia to weaken its economy as a sanction for the war. The European Union decided on the May 30 to have an oil embargo from Russia, reducing Russia oil imports by about 90% over the next 6 months, although the 27 nation bloc depends on Russia 25% of its oil supply and 40% of its natural gas.
Uy, that was an unimaginable thought some months ago. That must have hurt Putin.
I know.
Why don't we move to happier news? Dear public behind the screen, do you know what first mover advantage is?
Why don't you explain us?
Shh, that's where I'm heading. Nowadays, affordable and clean energy plays an important role in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. You know how Germany has been an expert by offering innovation and transformation to the rest of the world. The homeland of beer and sausages has positioned itself as one of the top countries of the European Union that manages a wind energy modality.
Yeah, it's the transition that the European Union is so eager to make to balance those negative impacts on the environment of oil extraction and all that entails the commercialization of it, and currently Germany is the main promoter for the development of renewable energies, gaining advantage over the rest as it was the first one to introduce it to the market. In economics, this term is known as first mover advantage.
Exactly. Not only does the pioneer country get benefits, but also recognitions, since it owns the technology that seeks the solutions to counteract the climate change that has been affecting our environment for many years now. It is worth mentioning that there are other countries which are also working on the regulation of carbon dioxide emissions, which are harmful to us.
Let's move on to bigger news, and because we love having a special guest, let us introduce your favorite gringo, Claudia, who is going to enlighten us on trade and COVID in the United States.
Hey!
What up, folks? In this capsule, we're going to spill the tea, and you know we love to. Let's dive into the United States economy and trade. As we have seen in recent years, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the most important and strongest economies were really affected by this virus, since we all lived through it, and it is well known that many services were suspended. Clearly, the future for trade and economic growth in the United States was somewhat uncertain, but thanks to the country's rapid political response, most of the economy was kept afloat, such as the Congress, the precious United States Congress. For God's sake, folks, please, Republican folks, cut the bullshit and...
No, we're family friendly.
Well, that they came up with 3 economic packages to contain the impact that this crisis had both on society and on companies. In this team, we believe that if the Uncle Sam does something right, is to look after its own interests and look for the benefit of both their country and their friends. According to the US Bureau of Economic Analysis, The trade in the US has been increasing in a very exponential way. In 2020, the imports of goods increased 5.2 billion to 259.7 billion. That's crazy, I know. I wonder how USA made that happen. I wonder who was the biggest capitalist monster in the White House in that time. You know we love gossip, and we're going to give you a clue of this terrific character. He looks like a carrot, he wears a toupee, and we know that he loves KFC.
Well, I think I know who you're talking about, but thank you very much, Claudio. See you.
Well, now let's move on to the other side of the charcoal. Recently, United Kingdom started talks with our country on free trade deal, and the first round of negotiations will be in July at Mexico City, hoping to finish them by the end of the year.
Let's remember that we actually have a commercial agreement with the United Kingdom, which is actually older than me. So that's why an update is required through a new progressive and innovative treaty.
Yesterday, I had an interview with John Benjamin, the United Kingdom ambassador in Mexico, and he said that they are really interested in updating the agreement with us because they're seeking to set tariffs at 0% on more than 90% imports and exports.
They don't want anything.
Well, this benefits our country because foreign investment is promoted by the entry of British companies, and this will generate new jobs, and this will boost our economy. So it's okay. According to figures from the ambassador, the current bilateral trade between Mexico and the United Kingdom has a value of $5 billion a year. Due to our beautiful and competitive country, is known as the country with the most amount of free trade agreements in the world. Now many countries are interested in signing treaties with our country in order to enjoy the benefits.
Wow. Let's hope that it brings the results we are looking for. Now, for our last capsule, let's go all the way to Venezuela with our second guest, Mitch.
Good afternoon. Right now, I'm in Venezuela investigating what is happening in this country with the currency exchange. Economists warn that the new tax approved by Parliament is a regressive rate that will have an inflationary impact. Maduro affirms that the use of dollars in Venezuela will be punished. Parliament approved last week a modification to the tax on large financial transactions that, with the distortion in Venezuela economy, will hit hard those who have taken refuge in dollars to save themselves from the hyperinflation that the country has experienced during the last 4 years. This law will allow the state to receive the dollars pocketed by the rich and large merchants. They report that the tax is a regressive and will have an inflationary impact, while promoting evasion and greater informality in payments. The Maduro government has set itself two objectives with these new tributes. First, increase tax revenue. So for the 2022 budget, he estimated a higher collection through this route than through income tax.